Hey guys, it's Stephanie Legacy here. Thanks for stopping by. I talk about all things related to health, wealth, and anything in between. I encourage you to love your life now so you can live your legacy. Some of you may have seen in my shorts that I mentioned I was going to go get a bod pod test done, and I would be sharing further information about that. I am actually embarking on a health and wellness journey, so I encourage you, if this is something you're looking to do yourself, whether it's losing weight or just kind of tightening things up in your daily life, looking for some fast tips and tricks about how to improve your overall health, please consider liking and subscribing. I will do my best to provide you content that provides value. So again, as I stated in one of my more recent shorts, I recently conducted a bod pod. And you might ask kind of, what is that? And it's a way basically to calculate body composition. So determining how much body fat you have and then how much fat-free mass you have. The reason I did this is because I am going to be starting on a health and wellness journey. And part of that is I'm going to be working with a nutrition coach. So I actually met with him for my first appointment on Saturday, and I'll be sure to share some of the key nuggets and ways that he positioned thinking about food and this journey that I'm about to embark on that I thought were just really great and definitely worth sharing. That will be in a whole nother video. But part of the conversation was I actually have PCOS, which stands for polycystic ovary syndrome. It's quite common and it happens in at least 10% of women. And sometimes that can impact your, what you call your basal metabolic rate or your resting metabolic rate. So basically, how many calories does your body burn if you were to do nothing? If you were to just sleep, maybe blink your eyes, not get out of bed, for your body to exist on a daily basis, how much does that burn? Or how much does it require from a caloric intake perspective? So I wanted to see what that value was, just so that when we were looking at how many calories I should be eating, we had a pretty accurate number and a pretty realistic figure for the baseline, because each person is different. And there are lots of formulas, and actually my nutrition person shared with me that the numbers that we got from the bod pod actually lined up pretty closely with some of the calculations and figures that he would have assigned to me from various formulations. But this just like closed any question in my mind and made it realize like this number is specific to me and my personal current health situation. So I wanted to go to the University of Minnesota and try, they have this, I haven't done it yet, so I don't really know the specifics, but basically it sounds like you submerge yourself in the water and then you do this multiple times and they check, I think, your buoyancy, maybe how much water you displace. I'm not 100% certain. And then that tells you your body composition. Due to the pandemic that we have going on, that has been deemed non-essential and it is closed. So then I looked at doing a DEXA scan, and there was a boutique clinic in a suburb of Minneapolis that provided this. It was a little bit pricey. It was like $150. At the U of M, the hydrostatic body testing, I think, was like $40. The DEXA scan was about $150. And that showed you your body composition, but it didn't give you your resting metabolic rate. You would have had to do another test, which they measured oxygen intake and outtake, I guess, to determine your resting metabolic rate. So the person that I'm working with for nutrition coaching actually found this other place located in Chanhassen called Discover Strength, and they had a bod pod. I'd never heard of this before, but basically it's like an egg-shaped machine that you sit in. So you could sign up online, on the phone. I called them, got an appointment like within a week of calling them, pretty easy. Felt pretty safe, relative. I mean, there were not many people in the gym. I was working one-on-one with a person. Prior to going into my appointment, they did send me some instructions. So if you're going to get a bod pod, make sure you get those instructions from them. They could differ slightly. But their instructions were to not eat or drink anything for 3 hours prior to the test. I have heard some places have longer intervals. I did my test at 10 a.m., so I just didn't eat or drink anything from the night prior. I did accidentally take 1 gulp of water when I was brushing my teeth. I was like, oh no, so I stopped myself from drinking anymore. I think that's probably okay. So they say don't eat or drink anything 3 hours prior. Do not exercise before the test. Obviously, I think, you know, the theory behind that is it can increase your metabolism short term. They wanted you to bring either like spandex shorts and a sports bra, or spandex shorts if you're a guy, or a tight-fitting swimsuit. So I don't have any like volleyball tries from way back in the day in high school, so I just wore a tight-fitting Speedo 2-piece that I had. They had a private place for you to change once you got there, so I actually changed when I got there. And then the main thing is they want whatever you wear, if you come back and do another test, they want you to wear that consistently. So no jewelry. They had me take off any jewelry or watches. They had me put my hair up in a ponytail. I used 1 binder. I'm saying that so I also remember this when I go back and get another test. And then they put this like silver swimming cap on my head, and I had to try and tuck as much hair as I could in the swimming cap. Then they had me, once I was changed and in the swimsuit, they had gone through all the instructions prior, but they had me stand on a scale twice. So they made sure that they got my weight appropriately. They took my height, took my age, date of birth, etc., plugged it all into this computer, and then had me go sit in the bod pod. Prior to having me sit in the bod pod, they actually calibrated it with a cylindrical weight, I'm assuming. I mean, it's probably like a set so many grams. It looked pretty heavy and took up a fair amount of space. Kind of almost looked like a super big foam roller, but probably a lot heavier. So they calibrated the machine, and then he told me, okay, you're gonna sit in the machine. You'll probably hear some air going in and out, and just try to sit as still as you can. The test is gonna be about 15 seconds. We probably have to do it 2 to 3 times, and we'll open up the door in between. So that's exactly what happened. I sat down. I honestly got, like, I am not a claustrophobic person, but when the pod comes over you, it's like arched. So it's like this egg. You're sitting there, you're trying not to move, and then like the air starts, it's like almost like suctioning, kind of like an airplane, but you can hear it like sucking in and out on the sides, making kind of some weird noises. So I just shut my eyes because it was a little weird, to be honest. And I just shut my eyes and sat there and relaxed for 15 seconds. Then he opened it back up. I didn't really move or anything. They shut it again, did another test. I guess based on those 2 tests, the numbers were close enough that they felt like they had an average or good enough results. They probably, you know, the reason for a 3rd test would probably be if there was any variance to kind of figure out what your numbers were. And that was it. So I stepped out, I went and changed. When I came back out of the room, he had a little sheet there for me. They basically went over, of course, they're going to try and talk to you about their strength training classes that you can do there to help increase your metabolism. They focus on strength training like twice a week. It's a drive from my house, so that doesn't necessarily make sense for me. But they share with you basically your body fat, your fat-free mass as a percentage, and then also as pure pounds. They share your fat mass as percentage and sheer pounds. So you have fat, and then your fat-free mass is basically your muscle, your bones, your water, things like that, right? And then your total mass, which is your weight. You get your RMR, or your resting metabolic rate. And then they also show you some numbers based on your resting metabolic rate, how many calories they are anticipated to burn in a day. So they have a sedentary, a low active, active, and very active. Now, I work a desk job, and I mean, I got this Fitbit because I'm trying to get more steps. I'm in conference calls, I just get glued to my desk because we're constantly sharing screens and whatnot. So I am definitely considered a sedentary person. So with that, you know, they gave me my resting metabolic rate, and then how many calories I burn on a daily basis. I then shared that with my nutrition coach, and from there, we use that as part of my nutrition goals. So my resting metabolic rate was 1,806 calories. That's kind of what my nutrition coach thought it would be. He said that's pretty typical. So that's great. That means he does not want me to eat less than 1,800 calories, which I know a lot of diets that I have done in the past have you, like you go to MyFitnessPal and they say, eat 1,200 calories. So he does not want me to eat less than 1,800. My weight loss journey is going to be aiming for a pound a week. So it's not going to be one of these great, super fast videos you see on YouTube where it's like, I lost 80 pounds in 2 weeks. And I'm okay with that for various reasons, which I'll get into in other video series. So anyway, I think that's really it for my bod pod experience. It wasn't too bad. It went really quick. If you're at all claustrophobic, you might not like it, but if you can just shut your eyes and bear it for 15, 30 seconds to a minute max, like I said, you're in there about 15 seconds at a time, totally worth it. I actually bought another one so I can go back. They said in 1 to 3 months. I'll probably go back in 3 months just to see my progress. But obviously I would definitely do it again. And what I really like is that it's a scientific informed number that I can use in my health journey moving forward. So hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions or if you have done a bod pod yourself. And again, I encourage you to like and subscribe to follow along with my journey, share in my journey with me, and also share with me what's going on in your journey. And just remind you to love your life so you can actually live your legacy. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Bye.